From the heart of the Himalayas pulses the most dangerous wound on Earth. India and Pakistan, two nuclear adversaries, share borders that are not mere geographical lines but lines of fire. Every small clash risks igniting a catastrophic war, a war that spares nothing and leaves nothing behind. In this video, we uncover how the Kashmir dispute has transformed into an open nuclear conflict and dissect the possibilities of an all-out war between the two most dangerous powers in South Asia, and perhaps the world. Welcome to our channel, Wonders of Secrets. But before we begin, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to receive our videos as soon as they are released. When Britain withdrew from the Indian subcontinent in 1947, it left behind a ticking time bomb: Kashmir. The region, with its Muslim majority, remained caught between Hindu-ruled India and Islamic Pakistan. The Hindu ruler chose to join India, sparking wars between the two nascent neighbors. The United Nations drew a line of control, but it offered no solution. Kashmir remained divided, volatile, and bleeding. A second war erupted in 1965 and a third in 1971, when India supported the secession of East Pakistan, giving birth to Bangladesh. But the most perilous confrontation came after both nations joined the nuclear club. In 1999, Pakistani forces infiltrated Kargil, and India responded with air and artillery strikes. The conflict nearly escalated into a nuclear showdown, averted only at the last moment. Since then, Kashmir has not known peace. Pakistan supports resistance factions, while India responds with repressive policies. The region is no longer just a border dispute, but a national symbol, a battlefield, and a perpetual pretext for escalation. The truth is, everything changed in 1998. War between India and Pakistan was no longer a conventional conflict. With 5 nuclear tests in Rajasthan, India declared its possession of the deadliest weapon in history. Days later, Pakistan responded with tests in Chagai. A balance of terror was born, and with it, a race with no room for error. India adopted a no-first-use policy, but left vague exceptions. Pakistan, from the outset, kept the door open for a first nuclear strike, even in response to a conventional invasion threatening its existence. Thus emerged the doctrine of early deterrence, and Pakistan began developing tactical nuclear weapons, like the Nasr missile, capable of targeting military units on the battlefield. Meanwhile, India built a massive conventional arsenal, relying on comprehensive deterrence and second strike capability. Pakistan bets on surprise and rapid psychological deterrence. The result is a fragile equation, a conflict where both sides hold the button for mutual destruction, with no effective communication channels, no disarmament agreements, and no guarantees to prevent an explosion at the height of tension. Nuclear weapons didn't end the conflict, they made it more dangerous. In South Asia, every artillery shell could be a prelude to doomsday. In the India-Pakistan equation, superiority isn't measured solely by the number of nuclear warheads, but by how they are used, how quickly they are deployed, and who presses the button first. India, with its geographic and demographic weight, has built a vast conventional arsenal and a military spanning land, air, and sea. In nuclear deterrence, it possesses a triad: ground-based Agni missiles, some with ranges exceeding 5,000 kilometers, air-launched systems like the Su-30 MKI and Mirage 2000, and nuclear submarines capable of delivering a second strike even after command centers are destroyed. Pakistan, seeking an asymmetric balance, knows it cannot match India's conventional might. It focuses on rapid nuclear deterrence, particularly tactical weapons. The Nasr missile, with a range of 150 kilometers, is designed to deter Indian forces on the battlefield. Behind these arsenals, nuclear doctrines differ. India relies on a civilian-led decision-making system with strict oversight, assembling weapons only when necessary. Pakistan's command structure is more military-driven, with some weapons believed to be in a state of constant or near-constant readiness, increasing the risk of unintended launches. The result is an unbalanced deterrence, mutual fear, and a short warning system. The margin for error is narrow, and the time for fateful decisions is limited. Both sides bet the other won't press the button first, But who can guarantee that one won't act if they believe their time is up? Globally, nuclear weapons are known as tools of deterrence, not use. But in the India-Pakistan conflict, the line between deterrence and use is blurry and dangerous. Four scenarios could push one side to fire the first nuclear warhead. First, a Pakistani tactical strike. If Indian forces invade Punjab or Kashmir and Islamabad fears collapse, it might use a limited, fast-acting tactical nuclear weapon to halt the advance and save the capital. But this would break the taboo and open the gates of hell. Second, an Indian strategic response. India has made clear that any nuclear strike, even a limited one, would trigger a massive retaliation targeting major cities like Karachi, Lahore, or even Islamabad, killing hundreds of thousands in hours and collapsing Pakistan as a state. Third, war by mistake. The worst scenario in nuclear history could arise from misreading missile movements, a vague intelligence report, or misinterpreting a routine action. A single error could unleash an unstoppable chain of decisions, leading to destruction without intent. Fourth, gradual escalation. A conflict starts with artillery fire along the line of control, escalates to airstrikes, then a ground invasion. Pakistan responds with a tactical nuclear weapon, and India unleashes a devastating counterstrike. Turning a local conflict into a total conflagration, the consequences are dire. Scientific studies predict 50 to 125 million deaths in days. Smoke from nuclear fires would darken the atmosphere, lowering global temperatures and triggering a nuclear winter, followed by long-term famines. Nuclear deterrence is not a safeguard but a deferred terror. Despite over 2 decades since their nuclear tests, India and Pakistan have known no lasting truce. In late April 2025, tensions reached a dangerous peak. Indian artillery shelled Kashmiri villages under Pakistani control, killing civilians. Islamabad called it blatant aggression and vowed a response at a time and place of its choosing. New Delhi claimed it was targeting sabotage and arms smuggling from Pakistan. Within days, both sides launched operations to strike each other's bases in Kashmir, a familiar scene, but this time the context is different. In India, nationalist rhetoric has peaked as part of the ruling agenda, using Kashmir to rally domestic support. In Pakistan, an internal political crisis and tensions between the military and government push towards seeking an external enemy to unify the nation. Talk of nuclear use remains unlikely for now. But why hasn't a full-scale nuclear war erupted yet? 3 major wars, countless clashes, assassinations, and cross-border shelling, yet no all-out war since 1999. Is this stability? Not necessarily. It's a fragile balance resting on 5 shaky pillars. First, nuclear deterrence in fear of annihilation. Both sides know war means uncontainable destruction, making the nuclear button ever-present but unused. Second, international pressure. Major powers like China, the US, and Russia cannot tolerate a nuclear war in South Asia. Every major crisis has prompted swift intervention, sometimes through public mediation, sometimes through back channels. Not out of concern for India or Pakistan, but to protect the global order. Third, rational interests. War would bring sanctions, market collapse, and halted investments, which elites in both nations fear. India seeks to cement its status as a global economic power, while Pakistan relies on foreign aid. Fourth, hidden military communication channels. Despite hostility, there are open lines between military leaders, especially regarding nuclear arsenals, to pass calming messages and avoid misunderstandings, operating quietly but effectively. The India-Pakistan conflict may seem like a matter of borders and history, but it reflects a changing world and an international system losing control. The collapse of classical deterrence is evident. The post-World War II global order was built on containing nuclear weapons and managing conflicts, but India, Pakistan, Israel, and North Korea have bypassed those rules without penalty. Today, there's no effective oversight, no binding treaties, and no global capacity for rapid intervention. Rising independent regional powers threaten further escalation. India is not a Western tool, and Pakistan is not fully beholden to China. Both act in their own interests, making major decisions without consulting great powers. The world is no longer unipolar, but a complex web of influence and contradictions. In New Delhi and Islamabad, as in other capitals, nationalist and populist rhetoric has replaced rationality, paving the way to power. As these waves rise, war becomes a popular decision, not a political one, and emotions drive armies. Some call it a proxy war, but with real missiles. Behind the scenes, China backs Pakistan, while the US bets on India to counter Beijing's influence in Asia. The Kashmir conflict is no longer just about geography, but part of a larger game of nations driven by external forces. This marks the end of superiority as a guarantor of peace. India, with its immense power, has conducted strikes inside Pakistan, knowing a nuclear response is unlikely. This is escalation under deterrence, using force without fear of catastrophic retaliation. But such calculations won't hold long against a single misstep. The India-Pakistan conflict is not isolated, but a symptom of the collapse of global deterrence. Kashmir is just a prelude to what could happen elsewhere if the rules fall. India and Pakistan have never known true peace, only truces under which the sounds of mobilization and hostility always echoed, with the nuclear button locked in drawers. Today, in 2025, the abyss feels closer than ever. Kashmir remains the epicenter, but the fire no longer stems only from its soil, but from political halls, media screens, cyber operation rooms, and nationalist rhetoric. Both sides bet the other won't press the button, but history teaches that the deadliest wars don't start with intent, but with a fatal miscalculation. This crisis may pass as others have, and data suggests a nuclear confrontation won't happen this time. But each test of this fragile balance weakens it, bringing it closer to collapse. In a world where controls crumble, rhetoric escalates, and mediation fades, nuclear deterrence may not suffice.